Almost there. Hey, good morning, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining for one more edition of our monthly webinars. Today we have a very exciting topic covered by a very seasoned and a very proficient speaker, as well as a trainer, as well as a practitioner of AI and GenAI topics. Before we delve right in, one of the most important things that we want to talk about is the adaptability to change that is very critical in these days, right? It's not only important to learn, it's also important to unlearn, skill ourselves, upskill and reskill ourselves. So a quick couple of quotes to get us started. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. That's from a change point of view. Albert Einstein said the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. I think one of my most favorite ones is the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So, in that spirit, let's come together to welcome Mr. Kumar to provide us deep insights about how we can take our ideas and monetize. So this is for all the budding entrepreneurs or seasoned entrepreneurs out there. We want to make sure that we empower you with ideas and a lot of insights. So to take it away, I'll introduce, I'll welcome Mr. Suresh to introduce our speaker. And then Mr. Kumar, you can take over the session. Suresh, please take it away.
Cool. Thanks, Praveen. Kumar, sir, it's all yours, sir. Go ahead and start.
Oh, okay. First of all, I would say thank you, everyone. Specifically, Suresh and Praveen and Kumar Ranigaru, so for giving me an opportunity to share this. So all right, we'll get started. And also, I wanted to thank everyone who have taken the time to join today. I know weekends, and especially if folks are joining from India, I know it's in the evening time. So making this time is not easy. So I'll try to make this worth, you'll probably learn a few things from today. So what we are going to do today is pretty simple. We are going to take something most people struggle with, right? Most of them may have an idea. How do you get, start with that idea? And how do you start with your initial customers? And we'll try to break it down into more of a practical and a repeatable process. So here is a reality, right? Not long ago, this used to take weeks, months, and actually even years. So when you have to build a team, website, you may need a team. Today with AI, a lot of this can be compressed into hours, right? So just to set the expectations, this is not the theory. I'm going to show you some real workflows you can actually use, right? Also want to kind of give you my own personal story. Back in 2017, 2018, I had an idea to build a startup. It was based on the HR tech. I'll also give you some background. I have a lot of experience working in the HR tech space, but in 2018, 2019 timeframe, I wanted to build this, right? So when I wanted to build this, I had no idea about startups. This was something that was very new. I was like an IT consultant like everybody else. So just to build a landing page at that time took me like about a month. And later on, I was trying to validate or vet my product. Took like another 6 months. And during MVP, I was trying to build an MVP, and I had to engage an outside agency to build. I had many challenges with them. Finally, I was able to build an MVP. It took me more than 1 year just to build an MVP. And along the way, I had to work with other contractors, external agencies, and the process was very painful. Obviously, I had to spend time, money, and energy. After 1 year, I was able to launch my initial MVP. So now, yeah. So now those things can be done, if you have the right tools, if you have the right process. Being honest with you, you can probably do all of those in less than a day. So those are some of the strategies that we are going to talk about today. When you have an idea, how do you get started and everything? Okay. With that being said, um, before I jump into the presentation, I quickly wanted to understand kind of a little bit who is in the room. Feel free to put this in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, and also you can answer this. How many of you already run a business, today? Any wanted to?
Yes, Kumar. I run the business.
Okay. How many want to start one soon? Okay, I see Srikanth. Yes, thank you. Um, how many have built a website before? Like, something simple, right? It doesn't have to be like, a complex website. Have you built a website? Um, you
I'm
know,
sure
if
many
you,
have built, many of us. So
how much time did you, if you don't mind me asking, how much time did it take building a website before using the AI, right?
probably
You
days, perhaps months.
months, right? Yes, weeks to days. Thank you. Um, And next one I want to talk about is obviously, right, once you build a website, you want customers. Like before you want customers, you need prospects. Um, I guess, can anyone share me, like, did you struggle to get good leads or good lead lists, right? Where did you go to get those lead lists? Can anyone share their experience? You can chat or you can feel free to speak up.
That's the toughest part, Kumar. So getting leads and converting them into actually successful, business is a biggest challenge in this world now.
Absolutely. And one other thing is I've seen most of these companies or like, startups sometimes struggle to define their ICP, ideal customer profile. So that's another challenge that we see. We'll talk about a little bit about that. Is right. Once you find your lead or prospect, so in order to convert them to customers, one of the ways, right, is sending email campaigns or letting them about your product and everything. Has anyone tried email campaigns?
We did a bit on and off, but yeah, I think unless you have a solid, proven product in the market, probably nobody cares.
And most probably, I'm sure, like, folks may have used external agencies, sometimes to run these email campaigns. With AI,
Yeah.
things kind of gonna get better. So we'll talk about, not only setting up email campaigns, but also we'll talk about some of the best practices that you need to follow when you're doing the email campaigns. Same with the lead list, right? I think, most of the time we probably have used some tools like, our subscriptions like Apollo or some external agencies to find the good lead list. Even then, we have some challenges with that. Again, with AI, things are going to get much simpler. So thank you. Thank you for that. Just wanted to set some stage and wanted to understand the background. So we'll talk about all of these today. A little bit more introduction about me. So Fani Kumar Bandaru, I go by Kumar. So recently I've started something called Tillion AI, primarily teaching AI for IT professionals. I have been in the IT space for 20 plus years. My background is enterprise integration. So I've actually worked in many companies, integrating all their enterprise applications. So I have tons of experience, connecting systems, making systems talk to each other the best way. About 2 years back, I've picked up in generative AI. So I support some federal agencies, right now implementing generative AI solutions. Um, as I mentioned, back in 2017, 2018, I started with my startup, which was in HR tech. Before that, I used to work for Allegiance Group, which is a #1 staffing company in North America. So folks may not have heard of Allegiance Group. Basically, this is a parent company of Tech Systems. This is close to $13-14 billion in business, #4 throughout the world. So while I was working there, that's when I picked my staffing recruitment background or domain experience. When I left them, I was trying to fill a gap of finding niche talent, using a recruitment company that I have started. So from there, I've started my own startup. I went through the normal journey of the startup, went through a bunch of accelerators, raised money, had some customers, building MVPs and the product. So I'm kind of a little bit familiar with building, and then the challenges that we used to have back then, right? So while I was, at the same time, as I mentioned, I also run a recruitment company, a recruitment firm. As I'm talking to more and more people, one of the things I noticed was the noise, the noise that the generative AI is creating. For any new technology, there is always early adopters, like early adopters from a company standpoint, as well as individuals, right? There is always 20 to 30% early adopters. But the 70 to 80% probably need some hand holding and structure when they want to learn. And those are like my ideal audience. I actually do AI. So it's called Tillion AI. That's what I do. But at the same time, also started a community called AI Bridge, which I will talk about a little bit later today. So that I'm trying to provide some free resources for folks who want to get started, both with IT and non-IT. That community is about 2,500 people right now, and I'm planning to grow a lot more. And that's my LinkedIn, by the way. So if you're not connected, I would request you to send me any LinkedIn connection request. So this is kind of the reality. Most people that I talk to, right? Sometimes they have a business idea, but they don't know where to start. They may have a service to offer. They're already doing something, but the messaging is not very clear, and they want to expand. They don't know a good way to get good leads. And eventually, once they have the leads, how do you convert them to customers, right? So sometimes having no proper website, no clear lead pipeline, and no consistent way to get customers. And this is where things slow down, right? Not because you're not capable, it's because the process kind of feels very heavy, right? Where do I start? What tool do I use? How much time is going to take? This is exactly the gap. Obviously AI is starting to close. It definitely removes a lot of friction to get started, right? But to understand the impact, you need to know how this used to work, right? Kind of before AI and after AI, right? So kind of gonna get into that a little bit. Before AI, required agencies or dedicated teams. Definitely, it was very slow, expensive process. And as I said, personally, I have faced this issue, spending months to build a website, spending months to find the lead list, and also determining if that lead list was right or not. Especially for small businesses like us, it's much more even challenging because we may not have the necessary resources and everything to get started, right? So this is kind of the old way, kind of build website over weeks. We probably have to spend manually finding leads. I have done personally, I myself have reached out to several folks on LinkedIn manually, sending connection requests, sending messages, spent, hours trying to reach out to, some customers. And I've also seen, email campaigns that I've tried in the past. You won't believe, but 60 to 70% of the emails that are sent probably end up in the spam folders. And I'll tell you why and what are some of the things we need to do to ensure that the
Actually,
email.
your speaker is not working. Please check your connection or use a.
Can you hear me?
So yeah,
Yeah,
please go
please
ahead.
continue. Somebody
Sure.
was speaking without muting. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, sometimes we see like, sending, I've personally noticed like, these emails are ending up as spam. We, used to do email campaigns, and we later on realized, we are sending all these emails. We are assuming that they are all going into the inbox. But later on, once we started to do some metrics, started collecting stats, what we noticed was 60 to 70% of our emails are going into spam. And there are several ways, that happens. Again, we'll talk about some of those things today, how to avoid them, and what are some of the best practices to follow. So AI definitely changes a lot of things. Things that used to take months and weeks can be done in hours. And things that were used to take hours can be done in minutes, but you still need to know the right workflow. There are some, the process and everything. That's what we're going to talk about today. So the three steps, we'll talk about the three-step system today. Building a website with the clear message. I've noticed, a lot of websites, they're trying to target pretty much everyone. Remember, I initially said, ideal customer profile. So when I go to websites, I see them like, I really do not understand like who their target market is. Your messaging, your target audience need to be defined even at the website level. So we'll talk about some of those things, how this can be done. Once you have that, right, that also helps you to find the right audience as well. Like, ideal customer profile, where do you find them? Do you find them in conferences? Do you find them in Facebook? Or do you find them on LinkedIn? And, where do they hang out, right? How do you reach them? So those are some of the things, knowing the ideal customer profile and defining that ideal customer profile. Once you define that ideal customer profile, how do you find that audiences as well, right? Earlier, as I mentioned, my ideal customer profiles were on LinkedIn. So I had to spend a lot of time, doing individual campaigns, reaching out to people. But that used to take months, actually years. So we'll talk about some of the strategies today where you can actually build a lead list in one day or less than a day. Later on, we talked about the email as well. How do you ensure that emails actually show up in your inboxes, and some of the settings and tools that we can leverage to ensure we can actually do email campaigns that end up in the inbox. Any questions so far? If not, we'll move on. So I think we kind of talked about this a little bit. The old way, hire a developer or do it yourself used to take weeks. And one other thing, big issue, right? Not easy to make changes. That was, to be honest with you, my most painful pain point. I used to have a freelancer who used to maintain my website, back 6-7 years back. The thing was, anytime I had a very small change, I had to engage with him. I need to send the messages. He sometimes makes the changes and doesn't test properly. So making changes was like,
Basically, guys, I used to live in Maryland and then we moved to
so
Virginia.
yeah, making changes was a struggle for me. With AI now, obviously, I describe my business, and we generate a website pretty much instantly. So we'll quickly, do a demo. We'll do a demo at the end, but I wanted to finish the presentation. So, and then we'll pick the demo at the end. So we'll use Lovable. I'm sure pretty much everybody's familiar with Lovable. If not, Lovable is, it's like a natural language processing kind of system where you can describe what you want and it can build websites. It can also build some applications as well, but no, not like complex applications. So Lovable has you can also host your website if you can have a domain name. So those are some of the things that we'll talk about. Again, we'll show if you have a business idea, how do you generate the website in minutes versus which used to take months and weeks before. The next one is leads. old versus like the new way. As I mentioned, a lot of manual research trying to understand where they exist. Also working with a lot of external agencies. These external agencies, what they do is they actually build a lead list and try to sell it to pretty much everyone. So these people may have changed their emails, or sometimes they're probably marking those emails as spam. So your emails probably would end up going into spam folders as well. And also the accuracy, as I mentioned, the quality of the leads may not be as good, right? With AI, we can define our ICP, extract targeted lead list, and we'll talk about a tool. And we'll talk about a particular tool that we will use today to scrape the data. I'll introduce in the later slides. We'll also use Claude Cowork. Claude Cowork, for folks who are not familiar with, is an agentic AI tool from Anthropic designed to perform complex multi-step tasks directly on the user's computer. So we'll use Cowork or Claude in general to help define, find leads, and also set up email campaigns. For that, we'll use MCP, which stands for Model Context Protocol. This is something I teach in my cohort, not just just doing something simple task like this, but also set up enterprise MCPs for enterprises, for large organizations as well. So the demo that we will do, we will build a lead list with AI, and we'll use something called Appify, as I mentioned. Appify is used or a subscription-based service. It's used to scrape the data from the web. Going to quickly show you guys Appify. Give me a second here. So Appify, as I mentioned, right, it's used for scraping the information from the websites, like, from the web. They have something called actors. Actors are nothing but pre-configured configuration. Like, it's like all pre-configured. Let's say you wanted to scrape data from LinkedIn, or you want to, scrape the data of jobs from LinkedIn, or you want to scrape company details from LinkedIn. So as a company who wants to get this data, right? You may not know exactly how do you define these scrapers. So what Appify does is these are pre-configured scrapers that are provided by the community, and these are paid, by the way, right? For example, I'll show you an example where I was trying to scrape YouTube channel data, and I have to pay dollar for like 1,000 results. Lead generator is another one here, right? Paying about $60 for 1,000 leads. So these are all defined actors. Before MC manually set up all these actors, I need to know which actor is really good, right? So first of all, you have to there are a lot of actors available. For example, if I search for LinkedIn.
Kumar, are you sharing your other screen? Because we are only seeing your PDF here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can share your entire screen. I just want to make sure.
Yes, thank you so much. I did not realize that.
No worries. Thank you.
Are you able to see now
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Now we
Thank
can
you.
see it. Yeah.
So now, sorry about that.
No.
So this is the Appify that I was talking about. Obviously, this is a subscription-based service. We'll quickly show a demo of Appify today. So Appify, as I mentioned, is used for scraping. They have something called actors. These are all predefined actors defined by the community. And the community, whoever builds this, also they charge, like, for example, in this case, I was trying to use a YouTube channel scraper. In order to get 1,000 results, they charge about like $1. It's pretty cheap, right? And I've used LinkedIn several times before. As you can see, LinkedIn profiles, post scraper. You can also scrape LinkedIn jobs. You can also scrape Apollo people leads. There are a bunch of scrapers out here. So you need to figure out like what is needed. Where, as I mentioned, right, where does your audience live, right? So for example, I'm a big user of LinkedIn. So anytime I need information about jobs or sales navigator or companies, I use LinkedIn scrapers. Um, and LinkedIn scrapers, you can define, say, hey, here are some of the things that I need, and we'll talk about that today. I'll give you a prompt that we can put it in Claude that uses Apify MCP, and it will get the lead list for us. So before that, Apify existed before that as well, but you had to manually program all of that. So it used to actually take even weeks, first identifying which actor to find. So that all, there was a learning curve before versus, I can define this in Claude right now. It will determine the actual actor that is needed for that particular job and just goes ahead and finds it. So obviously to set up from Claude, what you need is an API key. This is how you define APIs integration standard way, right? We'll talk about some of that today. But any questions on Apify? I mean, I know it's like this is not necessarily go deep dive on Apify, but just to summarize, right? Apify is the subscription-based service that we will use to find our leads. And they have something called actors, pre-configured tools. Depending upon where you want to scrape, you can find that. For example, I'll show you one more example. Let's say Google. See, it actually gives me Google search result scraper. So again, depends on what your use case is. You can pretty much scrape pretty much anything that is available on the web. Right? Going back to my presentation, so we will use AI. The other thing that step 3 that we talked about, right? Email marketing, old way versus new way. I've seen a lot of email campaigns where the same email goes to pretty much everyone with no personalization, right? If you don't do personalization, the email servers, they have built-in intelligence. So the email servers, when you see the same email going out from your domain, it automatically says that, you know what, he's probably trying to send as a spam, and it actually stops sending those messages. And instead of sending it to the inbox, it will start sending to the spam folders. Sometimes it even get bounced, right? So if you don't, and also I have seen, so for example, Tillion AI is the company that I use, right? If I need to send emails, bulk emails, the best practice is not to use the main domain. So you create additional domains, not one, multiple. So for example, my main domain is tillionai.com.
Once in a while, I think you're freezing up, and Kumar Garu.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm sorry. Not really sure why.
Maybe
I think
internet slow.
My internet is pretty good. Actually, I'm showing all the full bars.
Yeah, let's continue. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
Additionally, yeah, please continue.
Sorry about that. So I think where I was you do not use your main domain for sending emails. You have to create additional domains, especially if you want to run campaigns. Why? There's something called domain reputation. And the more you use your main domain, and the email servers start assigning your domain reputation. And let's say you send 1,000 emails, and out of those 1,000 emails, 50% of them actually marked it as spam. What happens is your domain reputation goes down considerably down. And in the future, if you start sending more emails, these email servers, they automatically, because your domain reputation is low, it will automatically start sending that to spam folders. So today we will talk about a tool, something called Instantly. Again, I'll introduce you. It allows to set up multiple similar email domains and send the emails. And you have to do multiple of them, not one. So we'll talk about that today. So that also is a poor setup, right? So with AI, you can do better setup, you can do personalization and also higher replies. So again, I think kind of touched upon a little bit of this and also leads, right? Just because you have leads doesn't mean that they are good leads. You have to have a mechanism to verify those leads before you start sending the emails. Again, we'll talk about a platform today that allows us to verify whether the lead is good or not. If it's something called email cleanup, right? So you have to do the cleanup similar to the data cleanup that we do in an enterprise world. The same applies to the data that we have. Also talked about using one domain and reputation. So that's another challenge. And generic messaging is also one other challenge that I see. Using the same message across the board. And also, when you have some new domains, do not start sending thousands of emails immediately. Start very slow. Start with 100 emails per day, then slowly increase the count. Another big issue is also personalization. So if you don't have personalization, in other words, if each and every email looks the same way, then that also affects the domain reputation. So more importantly, the delivery is important. And I know a lot of people focus on the content of the email. Being honest with you, the delivery should be more important than the content. So you may have the best content, but if it's not reaching the inbox, what's the point, right? So I think delivery is much more important. So we'll also do an email campaign, demo of the email campaign. I will show you how do you use multiple email accounts. How do we set up and set up an email campaign. We'll try to upload a lead list. We'll do a basic campaign setup and a sample personalized email sequence as well, right? For that, we will use something called Instantly.ai. That is what I've used. So we'll show how do you go from leads to campaigns in minutes using Claude again, right? So quickly, let me introduce the platform Instantly. There you go. Remember, I told you I have a recruitment company called Winning at Solutions. WAIT Solutions is the main domain for that. But as you can see, I have a similar domain, not the same domain, right? So I have getwitsolutions.com, my WIT Solutions, pro WIT Solutions, try WIT Solutions, biz. You get the point, right? I mean, so I created multiple domains. So for this, we need to buy different domains. Yes, absolutely. We need to buy different domains. So I have about 20 different domains that I have purchased along, and then I need to maintain those domains as well. Yeah, this got disconnected. I'll fix that later on. And I will show you something important. Obviously, I do run my email campaigns, as you can see. Can anybody guess what is usually the open rate for any emails? What is the standard open rate that you have seen in the industry? Anybody know? 20%, 30%, more, less?
I think probably it is like 20 to 25%.
Okay, I'm gonna show with my setup, it's more than 70%. Let me show you. 80% open rate. This is unheard of in the industry. as you guessed it right, it's usually 20-30%. The reason I have 80% open rate is because of that, because of the email setup that I have, the things that I'm talking about, the best practices. Let's look at this one, 83%. I mean, this is a little bit low. I don't know why, but it's again closer to 72%. So as you can see, this usually are unheard in this industry. Usually the open rates are 20-30% and the conversion rates are even less. And as you can also see, I've generated how many opportunities out of these different campaigns. And these are about, as you can see, leads list. I have about close to 1,000. It's actually less than that, being honest with you. 835 here. And I have generated about 13 opportunities from here. So 13 opportunities are something where people responded. And they said, yes, we are interested. I want to learn more. So these are some numbers from each of these 23 opportunities. I was not capturing. And again, these were different campaigns. We were, like, when we started, even with Instantly, we did not follow all the best practices. So, this look at this one, right? This is the standard one because I didn't follow all the best practices. Later on, we've cleaned it up. We found out like what's the best way to handle this. And that's why our email open rates are very high. So once you define your ICP, when you define exactly what you want and the email sequence and everything, that's when you really get the best, open rates. What else? So we'll again talk about, as I said, setting up these sequences also. Again, these are different sequences that we do. And we'll use AI to set up some of these sequences today. I used to do this manually with Claude, using MCP, connect to Instantly, and automatically do this. Again, there is again a learning. I went through the learning curve for Instantly, about a year back. Now with Claude, I don't even need to understand how Instantly works, because Instantly has, I need to figure out, what are the different options that are available? How do I send it? Daily limit, all of those can be automated using AI now. So things are becoming more and more useful. Sorry, more and more easy, not useful. There's something also called warm up. Start using it from day one. Instantly allows you to warm up those emails. I don't know what really happens behind the scenes, but once you create an email domain or email, you have to wait for 15 to 20 days before you can start using that. That's something called a warm up period. So what happens is instantly behind the scenes helps us to build a reputation, which is again very important to ensure our emails land up land in the inboxes. Setup again, I showed you using separate multiple outreach domains. Very important is also verified leads, which again I do. I ensure the reason you see 834 emails is actually I started with 1,000 emails and I did a cleanup of those emails, about 170 or something, or 130, whatever that number is, right? I had to delete them, or in other words, disable them because they were not active anymore, or they had some other issues. So you always have to verify. So do not just take a lead list without verifying. Otherwise, again, your spam rate, bounce rate will increase. Again, that based on that, your reputation will go down again. Always scale gradually, right? Just start. Don't always start small and slowly scale it. All right. These are the different tools that at least have shown or introduced. Now let's jump into the demo. So before I jump into the demo, any questions that I can answer? No, I think, all right. So what I did for today was, obviously I prepared some, prior prompts. I came up with some prompts. So first of all, this is the lovable prompt for building a website. Me being in the recruitment industry for a while, obviously, I picked up this particular use case. I wanted to build a modern professional website for a specialist AI recruitment and consulting firm. I wanted to name the company as AI Bridge. The primary focus, as you can see, I'm trying to define my ICP here, right? We help small, mid-sized businesses adopt AI by providing pre-vetted AI talent, both onshore, offshore. Practical AI training through structured cohorts. Again, remember, this is something that we already do. Advisory on implementing AI in real business process. Again, something we like to do. Our target audience is, SME founders and operators, CTOs, IT leaders, product leaders, companies exploring AI adoption, but they lack in-house expertise. We bridge the gap between AI hype and real-world implementation by combining, again, this is a prompt that I have defined. We don't need to go line by line. And I told it like, I want the website structure, a little bit of this. Obviously, I used AI for brainstorming and coming up with this prompt. So you wanted to use ChatGPT or something similar, just brainstorm with it to come up with the ideal prompt. But again, so this is how I want the website structure to look like. Services, AI talent, AI training, hero section, tone, that's also very important. Professional, credible. I'm a big believer of keeping things clear and simple. You can, that is something I like to do even on LinkedIn when I'm writing articles or, anything. Again, keep things simple, right? It's with AI, things are already very complex. So again, big believer of keeping things simple, focusing on business outcomes. So let's say you have this prompt. Sorry. So now let's go to Lovable. I think it has some free credits. So you can always easily be able to get a login. You don't have to pay the subscription fee. I do, but if you want to start today, as I mentioned, it has some free credits. You can just go ahead and even try as we are doing right now. So both my websites are launched or built on Lovable. If I were to do this today, I can use Cloud Code. But again, I've started this journey about a year back. So just to show you guys the website that I've already built. AI Bridge, I think I probably told you this is a community that I'm trying to build. I have free resources, also a YouTube channel. This is something I just started as of last week. I wanted to build a community for folks who want to start with AI, but they don't know where to start. To clear up some of the noise. Again, building this one community and try to share different resources. That's one, and this is the actual training one where I actually do structured cohorts. Both of them are built using Lovable. But now going back to our demo. So while it's trying to build the website, any questions about Lovable?
So the Lovable is going to host the site also, or we have to find a site where to host it?
So you buy a domain name, and then from Lovable, yes, you should be able to host it. But domain name needs to be purchased, and then yes, you can host the website. Yes. So I think Lovable uses Wordcell behind the scenes as the cloud provider to host the website.
So They charge Kumar for
Yeah,
hosting.
not for the hosting. So what they charge is for the subscription, a monthly subscription.
Okay,
Yeah, so that monthly subscription includes the cost of hosting as well.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said lovable, instead of Lovable, you can use Cloud Code for
Yes,
developing. Okay.
absolutely. So you can, if I were to do this today, I would do this in Cloud Code. The only thing I think you need to figure out is, now you need to get a Vercel account. Vercel is again a cloud provider. So there's some setup work that you need to do. Whereas when you're doing this with Lovable, those things are hidden behind the scenes. We don't need to worry about it, right? So as you can see, I have about 100 credits that I can use every month. So I'm restricted with the number of credits I have with Lovable. Whereas if I use Cloud Code with the Pro version, which is $20 per month, I mean, again, even that has a restriction, but the number of things that I can do with the $20 is a lot more than what I can do with Lovable. Again, there are some restrictions, but again, things are also a little bit easier if you want to get started. So let me show you guys, like, I know
You also need to take a subscription for the
how do you
cloud,
do this,
right?
right? So
What
cloud,
is the
cloud
cloud
$20,
name?
yes. I'm sorry,
What is the cloud you said with
Vercel,
cloud
Vercel, Vercel.
Vercel?
Vercel actually also, yes, you probably have to take something again. Again, if you want more control, you want to build a more of a see. So right now my application is pretty simple. In other words, I'm just building a website. But as we speak, I'm actually building a lightweight ATS system. Again, my background is all recruitment and staffing applications and everything. So I'm trying to actually build a very lightweight application tracking system for doing bunch of things. So for that, Lovable will not work. I am actually doing that in Cloud Code, right? To build the actual application itself. So earlier, I think somebody asked, how do I, connect to the website? So this is where you do this, right? Go to GenAI. I've already purchased this. You go set it up, and this is how you can connect to the actual website. And obviously, the domain name settings and everything needs to be configured so that Lovable can host this. So now going back to our dashboard, let's see if it has built. So I think it built something, or it was building something. So and it takes about few minutes. There you go. It's up. What happened? Yes, there you go. So again, it built this in a matter of minutes. Obviously, I did not give the color coding and everything. It actually did that. But if you have any brand colors, definitely you can provide those information as well, and it will use those brand colors. And I told it to do 3 different services, as you can remember: AI talent, AI training cohorts, AI advisory. How we work, our process. We focus on the outcomes, ROI based work. Okay, I think, yeah, founded by practitioners. I think it did a decent job of building your first draft, right? In a matter of minutes versus, again, I think we talked about this, we used to take months. All you have to do is chat with it to make changes. So obviously there is some back and forth, right? I think the first draft, you may have to want to make some changes, add few other things. We can continue to chat with it and make the changes. But I wanted to show you how quickly you can actually land up with the right initial website in a matter of minutes. Any questions with Lovable?
How do you customize this site? Like if I want to add some pictures or like any information, so you still need to keep on asking Lovable, or you can edit yourself?
I mean, you have to. So there are something called visual edits. So let's say I want to make some change here. Again, I did not play with this a lot, but you can select this particular one and tell exactly what to change. But the other way is there's something called plan mode. I use this a lot. Plan mode was not provided before. They started this about a month back. So plan mode is nothing but similar to how you use Cursor or Cloud Code, right? First you do some planning. So let's say you want to make some changes. So I'm making this up, by the way, right? Real quick. What is this one? I'm not really sure why. Again, I just quickly made something up, by the way, right? But the plan mode, what it allows you to do is it actually, I want to add more graphics to show the impact. Can you suggest some? Again, this is something real quick. I just wanted to show you guys the plan mode. That's the intention here. So with the plan mode, there you go. I mean, this is even better, right? It's actually asking, okay, what uh, graphics or impact, right? So it's actually asking, animated counters and stats or client logos. What do you want to do, right? It's actually, this is good. It's not assuming things. It's actually asking questions. So, before after comparison or, animated counters, like, with something like that, let's select that. And then say review. So submit. So what it will still do is it's actually come up with the plan. It will not make the changes to your site yet. It will tell this is the plan that I have. And then once it shows the plan, you can review the plan. And then if you like the plan, so this is what it's saying, right? Here is a plan. Add animated impact counters, what we will build. AI professionals placed, client retention rate, average productivity gain. And it's even saying that, it will do that placement between hero and services section, right? So if you don't like what it gave you, so you can always say that, hey, can you make the changes or can you do something else? But in this case, let's assume that, I like what it's telling me to do. I mean, what it wants to do, right? So let's say I approve the plan. So when I say approve, it goes to the build mode. In other words, it will start building this.
Whether these numbers were provided by you, like whatever numbers are mentioned there?
It actually came up with those numbers, but that's where you want to review. And that's why I told you, right? I quickly said, I want to add more graphics to show the impact. But ideally, what you want to do is you have to provide those numbers. Yes. That's a good question, but it just came up with some numbers. So obviously, right, I can always change this. Once I like this graphic, so I can say now, hey, you know what? I did not place 500 people. I only placed 200 plus people. So can you change that? My client retention is even more than that, so you can always ask it to change it.
Okay, we can give it in the prompt again.
Yeah, you can give it in the prompt. Yeah, you can give it in the prompt. Yes. And by the way, you can use AI. When I say AI, like AI assistants like ChatGPT to come up with the right prompts for Lovable. You don't have to necessarily do this here. Okay, I usually have ChatGPT open on another screen, and then I say, you know what, here is a prompt I want to give to Lovable. So can you write a prompt in such a way, which is Lovable friendly? So ChatGPT actually does that for us. All right. Any other questions on Lovable before I move to the next use case or the demo? All right. If not, then go to Appify now, right? Finding lead list. So Appify, I want to connect Appify using MCP, Model Context Protocol. So for MCP, you need something called MCP server. So this is the MCP server that I have already set up. So how do you set up? Go to settings, connectors.
Kumar sir, just sorry, just for the continuation for the members there, it looks like you went into Claude desktop one.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. Sorry about that. Yes. Now, what I did was I am in Claude right now. So remember, sorry about that. Yeah, thank you, Suresh.
No problem. I just want to make sure there's continuity for people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what we are doing is this one right now. So we're going to do the demo of building the lead list with AI. As I mentioned, the tools that we need are Claude. Cowork can be used, but we can use the regular Claude chat as well. And we use Appify. Appify is something I already introduced before. So now what I want to do is how do I connect to Appify using Claude, right? So for that, you need Claude, your desktop or any Claude subscription. I have a pro version. So a pro version is needed to get access to all the different connectors that they have. So the connectors are nothing but behind the scenes, what Claude does is it creates that MCP server connection. So Claude works as an MCP client, and that's what I was trying to show earlier to you. Appify has an MCP server, and this is the MCP server URL for MCP integrations with Appify. So what I am showing you now is how do you connect to different connectors. So I've already made the connection, but as you can see, it has so many connectors available, including DICE. I mean, I didn't even realize that they have DICE connection. So, I mean, now if you have a DICE subscription, you could actually chat with Claude Code or Claude and find all the jobs from DICE. This is a new one that I was trying to explore, by the way, fireflies.ai. If you have meeting notes, Fireflies AI is nothing but to capture the meeting notes, similar to the transcription service that some of the other things have, including Granola. I didn't even know that Granola is also same thing, AI notepad for meetings. It's now you can actually capture all your meeting notes, and Claude will have all the intelligence of different meetings that you're already doing. This is excellent. I'm exploring that use case right now because I do a bunch of meetings. My meeting notes are all over the place. But anyways, I know kind of going a little bit off tangent right now. But so what I want to show you guys, Appify MCP server. There you go, right? I've already installed or connected to this one, but the setup is very, very straightforward. All you have to do is, right now it shows as uninstall, but if you are doing it first time, it shows as install, click the button install. Within a matter of 1 or 2 minutes, it will install it and it will ask for an API key. The API key is where you get from here, right? So I've showed earlier settings, API, and create the API key from here, API token, and provide that API token. It will do that. The connector will connect to that one. So I've already made that connection. Sorry about that. Let me go back. Let me show the connections. See here, Appify is already connected. Appify, and I've given some permissions also here. So every MCP server has MCP is nothing but like an API, right? It sits on top of the API. Similar to API, it has different methods, right? You are actually allowing permission to do all of this. For example, search actors, fetch actor details, get actor run, different things, different functions that are available on the MCP server. So this is a one-time setup. But once this is done, you can use Claude to chat with or configure Appify without logging into Appify, right? So let me do this. So what I did earlier this morning, right before, I was just trying to test it. Use Appify MCP to connect to my YouTube channel. I used to call it GenAI cohort to show my channel details. What it did was it used Appify integration or MCP server. It loaded the tool automatically. It searched for the act. Remember I told you about actors. These are pre-configured ones. And what it did was it actually picked the right actor, something called Grow Media YouTube channel scraper, because it has the highest rating. Again, these actors are provided by different people, and some of them are really good because the way they have developed it. So you always want to pick the actor which has the better rating. So Claude automatically picked that actor with that rating, and it connected to the channel, and it actually pulled up all the information. It actually realized that I changed the name, which is correct. Actually, I changed the name from GenAI cohort to AI bridge to match my brand. And it actually, again, this is a pretty recent channel that I've started. I don't know, this for some reason it gives me 2022, but that's not true. I mean, maybe I started that, but it's started posting information there anyways. So it has so many subscribers, different views, and all the different videos webinars that I have done in the last 6 months. And also I have some testimonials about the cohort that I run. So everything is already there. It pulled all this information. Again, it is using a scraper to get this information. Similarly, what we will do is we will now use Appify MCP to scrape the lead list. Again, I have a find leads. So I kept it simple. Use Appify MCP to find 15 US based SMB companies under 500 employees, in the DC metro area. I'm just changing this, because I'm from the DC metro area. That appear to be new to AI and starting to implement AI solutions. I want to find company name, website, industry, estimated employee count, why they look, early in adoption, CTO name, closest technology leader, their job title, email address. And I said email address is required. Let's see how it does. And I also told it to return the results in a clean table. So let's take this. All right, let's put it to the demo gods, ensure that it works. Again, Appify, Appify, you can also take a free subscription service. It actually by default provides like a $5 credit. Pretty easy. You can sign up with very easily with your Google email. So actually, it's telling that search wasn't targeted enough. Let me search more specifically for DC area SMBs. So it's actually changing my
So, Kumar sir, while this is coming up, one quick question in terms of Appify and Apollo and Clay.io.
Yeah.
From the subscription side, we noticed that the costs are pretty expensive. So how do you see with this Appify one? We do have a subscription and then find the from the community get those smaller cheaper priced ones and then do it, or
so yeah, Appify is for building the leads, right? I know you mentioned Clay, right?
Yeah.
So Clay is, how do I say this? It's more like a marketplace for everything. Clay. I've used Clay as well before, and I am not using Clay anymore because it has too many bells and whistles. Clay is really used for an agency that is actually helping other companies find leads. I think it would be a good tool. Clay would be a good tool for them. And I reason I chose like Apify is it's like, if you spend about $30 per month, actually even less than that, you can get close to 5,000 or even more. I mean, to be honest with you, even less than that.
Oh, wow.
So as a small business, if I can get 5,000 to 10,000 leads, that's more than enough, right? For $30 or less.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay. Mine is a B2B business, so I don't even need 5,000 once. I think, if I can get the right ICP and, maybe 500
Exactly.
per month should be good enough. Okay. We'll
Yeah.
start using it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. So I know it's like, trying again, this sometimes will take some time. We'll come back to this one. In the meantime, I will let it run. Sometimes it does that. What we will do is I'm going to show you instantly. Similarly, now let me go back to the. So here is the demo, right? I was talking about. Now, assume that in the previous step that we are building the lead list, assume that you have the lead list. So now what we want to do is using that lead list, you want to build an email campaign. And what I want to do is create a simple 3 email cold outreach sequence for our recruiting agency, right? And let's call it, because we are calling our website AI Bridge. So now we call this campaign name as AI Bridge Demo. Goal is we want to reach out to these companies that are hiring AI solution architects and offer to submit qualified candidates. Again, I'm sharing a little bit information about us. We are a specialized AI recruiting firm with access to pre-vetted AI talent, engineers, architects, and we also run AI training cohorts, which gives us access to highly qualified and upskilled candidates. And I'm telling that I'll upload the lead list for you to use. We have to give the lead list, right? And I'm telling instructions to create the sequence, right? Create 3 short emails, initial and 2 follow-ups, and I'm providing some instructions or constraints. Keep under 120 words, not salesy. Mention that we notice that they're hiring AI roles. Offer to share relevant candidates and include clear to action. And these are the placeholders, right? The placeholders is where it personalizes the message. It doesn't look same for the email server. So this is how Apify works. Sorry, instantly works. So what we will do is we will take this one. And earlier I was testing. Let me go here. So if you can see this one, I already tried this earlier, but again, I'm going to run this one more time just to show you all. So it's actually using, in our case, this one is using instantly MCP. As you can see, in this case, it's actually asking permission, create campaign from instantly MCP. Okay, I'm gonna allow it. So it's going ahead and creating the campaign. So there you go. It is showing that it actually connected to my MCP my instantly account. That's beauty, right? Beauty of it. it is already telling me that I have 20 accounts to send, sorry, 18 accounts because 2 of them got disconnected, right? So I need to fix them. But it actually is telling I can see 18 eligible sender accounts. Which accounts would you like to use for this email campaign? It's like, I would say all 18. There you go. It's working on the campaign now. And this will take some time, by the way, like in a few minutes. Usually I've noticed this before.
Hey Kumar, if I can ask a question. Now, when you have these 18 email accounts, how do you
Please do
manage
that.
those?
Go ahead, please. You have to. I mean, unfortunately, because remember,
There's no other simple way.
There's no other simple way. All you have to do is create those domains like one time, right? It's not really a whole lot of work, I would say, once you set it up. The initial setup is the one that actually takes time. So campaign has already created. Now let me update it using the 18 senders with the full 3-step sequence. Let's see, actually it did create it or not. It's actually, there you go. It already created the AI bridge demo campaign. And as you can see in the schedule, not options, it's actually already selected few. I don't know how, but let me see, right? So go here and I say allow. It's now we'll set up everything is set up. Campaign AI bridge is in draft mode with all 18 sender accounts assigned. There you go. It actually created the initial email. If the campaign will automatically stop automatically if someone replies or sends an auto reply. Again, this is something I like to use. Like somebody says, you know what, I wanted to stop, unsubscribe or whatever, right? So now what it's saying in the next step, I will load your lead list and I will add them to the campaign. Okay. So now before we do that, let's go to MCP, sorry, instantly. AI bridge. So there you go. It created the sequence. AI solution architect candidates for first name. Hello, I notice your team is hiring for AI solution architect. We specialize in placing AI talent, pool of pre-vetted candidates, our own training cohorts, which I wanted to mention. It's under 120 words. After 3 days, it's actually, I think it's sending in the second message, following up on my last note, we work exclusively in AI recruitment, blah, blah. If you're building out your solution architect search, I would love to share a short list. It costs nothing to, whatever, right? And the last one, right, last check, because I told it to only do the 3 sequence email. Keep it short. Either way, happy to send over a profile if that is useful. It followed the instructions and even created. Believe me, I used to do this manually before Claude. I used to go individually, go create this. Sequence, add each sequence that I follow right now. But I used to do all of this manually. Even the options of stop sending emails on reply, by default, it is disabled. I enable it. So here, what Claude did for us is bulk of the work. Otherwise, you need to understand how instantly works. How do you set up these emails? Where do you select? Believe me, I spent, few hours to weeks to learn how instantly works. Now with Claude, with the MCP, Claude and the combination of instantly MCP, you don't necessarily need to learn a lot. I mean, having that understanding will help, but pretty much all the sequence can be set up by Claude by just chatting with it. So now let's go back to our lead list, AI recruiting cold outreach sequence, not this one. Oh, did I use a different chat? Not this one. Sorry, I was trying to find my Appify, the chat that we were doing earlier, where it was trying to find the lead list. Oh, sorry, here. There you go. Oh, there you go. So it was for the remaining 12, it was not able to find. So again, I think I can always use, let me say that, can you use LinkedIn scraper?
Kumar, one more question. When we are asking for LinkedIn scraper, does it use internally the premium one and charge it to us?
So basically what happens is, good question. So what happens is there will be an actor for LinkedIn. So see, when I used for my channel, it picked up this YouTube channel scraper. And as you can see, pricing was only $1 and it ran for 5 seconds. So when I say LinkedIn, yes, it will use the LinkedIn scraper to find the data, and then it will be charged accordingly to our account. So my usage, if you can see, I actually had $80 or something in my account, and it only used like $1.81, even with all of these. It's pretty cheap.
Yep.
So
Thank you.
yes,
Got it.
to answer, your question, yes, it will charge, but it's very minimal. So now what I'm telling it to specifically use LinkedIn scraper. I think it didn't do a great job trying to find LinkedIn scraper for whatever reason. I thought it will pick up the right scraper, but it did not. But so I specifically, pushed it to use LinkedIn scraper. So this is where, like, knowing a little bit about how Appify works, what are some of the actors available will help. But again, technically, you can always challenge Claude to find something else. It will do it on its own. But in this case, I know because there is LinkedIn scraper available, so I told it to use a LinkedIn scraper. So now it's doing that LinkedIn scraper. I have two strong actors to work with. Let me use the LinkedIn company search scraper first to find the DC area assemblies, then employee scraper to find the tech leaders with emails. I mean, just to show you guys, like I'm just showing, like, how it's doing, right? So Harvest API, I think was the LinkedIn scraper it actually picked.
Kumar, this is a cloud code, is it?
This is the regular Claude. You can also do this with Cowork, but this is a regular chat, Claude chat.
So what is the difference if I go to, let's say, ChatGPT and ask, give me list 10 JNTUH graduates living in New Jersey, for example.
Yeah.
It's giving me everything, all the names, LinkedIn connections from LinkedIn, let's say.
Yeah.
It's so what is the difference between this and then having nothing, just go to ChatGPT and ask for it? What is the difference?
That's a very good question, by the way. I'm glad you asked that question. So your results is what matters, to be honest with you. So there is no good definition of, like, when you, in other words, like, it may get you the details, it may not get you the details. So, it's doing its best to try to find that data from the web. But here in this case, I'm specifying it go to use the LinkedIn as, right? So this can see earlier, I think I was showing, I think with instantly, it used to picked up an actor that has 4.91 rating out of 5, which means that people have used it to find leads and they had success with that. Whereas if you use ChatGPT, it's just gonna do its best to go scrape the whole world out there and may get you some data, but from a long-term standpoint, if you want to build a good lead list, a targeted lead list, using Apify, is much more better because it has pre-configured actors. I hope that answered the question, maybe.
As for you, I think that will work. But as a layman, like if I have to just find out who is there, my question, probably Chat GPT would
It does.
help.
It will. Yeah, it will. But as you see here, it gave me very good information versus like, if you do the same thing, it will probably just take forever. Um, you know, so it's still telling me to go to Apollo again, as you can see. Use Apollo or something else by location, because in this case.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. So this is Sai Mana Pragara. And so basically, we are looking at something that what Claude and how to use it and what kind of prompts that we're going to give it is going to give us the results. But I thought that how do we make sure that we get the customer base and actually have the customers come to us? I thought that was the essence of this, um, webinar. So, are we at this point just learning about how to use Claude and compare it with ChatGPT or the other, like Gemini and other stuff, and then trying to see how Claude is different from them? Um, my question is basically to see, um, is there a way for us to make sure that we get the customers lined up, and how do we actually do that rather than actually going over things like how to use Claude and what kind of
Hey,
scrapers
Saichek,
that we need to
I
do?
think you joined a little late. We went through all those segments about customers. So we will be happy to share the recording with you so you can catch up on
No, I
the
just
how to
asked a
generate
question.
leads.
I mean, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
asked a question,
Yeah,
and
I'll try to answer
you
the
know,
quick question. Okay? So
yeah,
you still have to reach out to customers, even with AI, right?
sure. I mean,
How about
I'm done
this is
with the
not
question.
something you are creating a funnel where just like they come to you and asking, I've seen like, how do see in order to find a customer, like, in order to find a customer, like you have to reach out to them. Like, how do you know about them if you don't have a website? We talked about building a website. That's how they find about you. The second thing is you need to send email campaigns, so that they hear about you, they know about you.
See,
So
actually, emails, we actually deleted a website. Nobody goes into the website at this point. That's not how we are actually, trying to find customers. So that's one of the issues I had.
inbound, right? You need customers to come inbound. So different ways is website is one way, email campaigns is another way.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Kumar, you can share your experiences.
Sure, absolutely. So basically, I think we are having some issues with finding the actual leads, but as you can see, it created these leads. Once you have the leads, if you say, upload the leads, what Claude can do is also upload those leads, right? Once that is done, technically, you can set up this campaign. All you have to do is go to this campaign, activate this campaign, or resume this campaign. So it will run on its own. So as you can, again, here, if you see here, my particular campaign is almost running. It's close to 92%. It's not 100% complete. So that will instantly will take care of sending all those emails behind the scenes. And most importantly, it is going to use all these email accounts that you have set up. So in other words, different email folks that you're sending are going to reach out for different things. So for example, in this case, this is a campaign that we did. And this particular guy has responded to us and saying that, hey, um, hello, Jason, I'm interested. Please share more details, right? And then we followed up saying that, thank you for the interest. And then, his response was, okay, yes, we'll look at that. As you can see, this email went out from Jason, but this particular email also Jason, but let me see the URL. This is Jason Pro WIT Solutions, whereas this is Jason just WITsolutions.com. So that's how, as I told you, right, I think using multiple domains, will bring them. Ultimately, what you want to do is bring them to your CRM because they have shown interest. Try to set up a face-to-face or one-on-one meeting, to talk more about, because you already have established that first level of contact. In the marketing world, I'm sure everybody knows about this. In general, right? I'm talking about in general. There at least needs to be 8 to 10 touch points between you and a potential prospect in order to convert them to a customer. 8 to 10 touch points. So not one. So email campaigns is one way to increase those touch points. Your website is one way to increase the touch point. LinkedIn is another way to touch points. There's no magic wand where unfortunately just customers will come to you unless you are like a big service provider, which everybody is looking for, like Claude, right? Unfortunately, most of the service providers have to do these email campaigns, have to reach out, have to make phone calls, SMS messages, email campaigns in order for them to get converted to customers.
One little question I have, Mr. Kumar, is isn't this generating a lot of spam? Isn't it generating a lot of? I mean, we have a lot of phone calls and also a lot of emails coming in, and then you are using the bots to send these emails. One week, next week, or the other week, and then maybe twice a week, and then bombarding those guys. Isn't that
Not necessarily.
spam?
Not necessarily. Okay. So let me answer that question. So I have not showed you an opt out. Okay. But what we do is we have an opt out. So as soon as they opt out, or just send an email saying that unsubscribe, we stop sending the messages. So not necessarily.
Even
As
after
long as,
we opt out,
as long as you
just a
provide the
follow-up question.
Yes.
Just a follow-up question. Even after opt-out, we see that the bots usually use other routes and other emails. And I'm sure that you also employ the same things, where you will try to, send the same messages again and again to see if there is any interest.
That,
And there is
that
only
is
so much that you
something
can do.
that is something we don't do as a practice, being honest with you. If others are doing, I can't control that. I'm going to talk about ourselves, what we do. Once the customer says, please unsubscribe, we have that unsubscription immediately logged in. We never send another message to him. That is strictly something that we follow internally as a best practice. If others are not following, that is something I cannot control.
Understood. So, as a follow-up on that, then once the
let's, Mr. Sai, let's make this the last question so we're not interrupting
yes,
the flow of thought. Okay, thank you.
no, it's in the same flow, right? So,
No,
as a
let's,
follow-up,
let's give a chance for other 35 people to also ask questions. Please don't hog the stage. Please ask your last question. Thank you.
yes, this is my last question. So, even after I opt out, okay, and then so once that is done, so your phase one, phase two, and phase three. When the phase one is opt out, then your phase two and phase three, like you just explained, will not actually take effect. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that is correct. That is correct. Yes.
Okay, and then that means that the entire thing is falling apart, that we cannot reach the customer.
Only
That's
for
my
that,
last question.
only for that customer, we will not send the follow-up sequence
Correct.
because they said no, do not send.
That's all I'm going to say at this point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, that is correct. All right. So, any other questions? I mean, before I think that was the demo. I mean, unless you have very specific questions, right? Today we were able to show you obviously building a website. The old way, finding lead list using Apify or scraping data, and how do you set up email campaigns, right? More importantly, using multiple accounts, ensure the proper procedures are followed using warm up the accounts, ensuring that we are able to access. So, any any other questions that I can answer before I kind of wrap up?
I think Rupesh raised his hand.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks, Kumar. Thanks for the information. It was very informative. But I have one question. Your approach for getting very similarly sounding domains, right? Are there any trust factors or challenges that you encountered when doing this?
So not necessarily. That's where it's important to find your ideal customer base. So there are different ways to collect your leads, right? I also have a newsletter that I publish every 2 weeks talking about AI insights and everything. So these are all the people who are actually signed up already, right? That's one way to do it. When you wanted to do like a cold outreach, going back to some of the earlier points of like spamming and everything, that's where it's important you find your ideal customer base, right? Then the reason I have 80% open rates is because I'm not just trying to spam somebody. I did my due diligence to ensure uh, those are my relevant audience. They don't really care about what domain you used if the message is right. If the message is right, and if that is something that they're looking for, they don't, obviously there is like 5% everywhere in general, but ultimately, if the message is right, they don't care about which domain you sent. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a next question from Ms. Narsingh Rao. Can you please ask?
Hey Kumar, good that thank you for showing this through Claude, and I use it a lot. But Claude Cowork I never used. If you can just do a 2-minute overview of how it will be different on Claude Cowork, that will help. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. I know I didn't spend a whole lot of time, but Claude Cowork is really where you want to leverage your computer, right? In other words, let's say you have like folders. If you create a spreadsheet, for example, I mean, I know I'm not showing this here, but let me see. Claude Cowork can access your computer. The chat does not have that ability, whereas Claude Cowork basically has ability to talk to your folders, update your folders. So I can say that, okay, I can even schedule every day that I'm going to upload a CSV file into a particular folder. It will automatically read information from that CSV file. The CSV file could be a lead list, by the way, right? Just comparing to what we are doing today. And then it can take that lead list from that CSV folder and then enhance the data, for example, and then update that enhanced data to another folder. So it technically can do all of that without you being there. Claude Cowork is basically, as I said, will have access to your computer. It will do much more tasks. Give me 1 second. I'm going to quickly show some of the ideas that you can do, automate some of this using Claude Cowork. So if you go to all, Cowork and all, they give you all this, organize my files. So one of the things, it can also do is, just organize all the different files. So let's see what it does, right? I want to organize my files. I'll point you to at a folder and tell you what it needs organizing. following up on anything that's unclear. So you see, you can actually give it to a folder and you have to describe what you want the Claude Cowork to do. It will do that for you. And it's actually asking you to choose a folder. So it can even write code if something needs to be done. So technically, Claude Cowork is like Claude Code for non-technical people.
Alright.
So
So this is like a co-pilot in Microsoft Word.
it's more than that. It's more than that. It's more like an agentic. I think I had a slide on Cloverwork. Let me go back and try to show you guys one more.
Because the co-pilot, it does, like whether it's Excel, PowerPoint, anything, it can access your local drives and do a lot of things,
So
but more
Copilot,
customized.
you have to do that. I think the integrations, right? With Copilot, again, I have not used Copilot a lot, but Copilot, yes, I think you can connect to SharePoint more from an enterprise standpoint, right? Whereas this one, it is interacting with your own user's computer in this case, more for more individual tasks.
But is it secure?
Yes, it is. I mean, obviously, you need to have some controls in place, but yes, what they say is obviously Claude Cowork came from a preview stage. I think it was a couple of days back. It actually came out from the preview offering, right? So they were testing before. So one of the advice I always used to give people was, if you are giving Claude Cowork to some of the folders, make a backup of the data that you already have, because it's too early, right? Sometimes it may mess up your data. We never know, right? Always make a copy of something, right? Initially, to start with, I don't know who asked this question in general. What I would do, one of the best practices that I always do is I pick up use cases where there is no privacy things or no issues, right? I want to play around first, learn more about if this is something that I'm comfortable with. Similar to OpenClaw, OpenClaw, I mean, I'm sure everybody heard about OpenClaw. I'm testing OpenClaw right now as we speak, but I am being very particular about what type of data I can give access to first, right? So I'm being very, very careful about keeping things simple first. I'm trying to learn about like OpenClaw, how it does, before I can just give access to my entire computer, to my WhatsApp channels, approach in general with any new feature, because everything is new. I will not trust it. By default, I will never trust anything. I will keep, I'm going to start slow and then try to learn along the way before I automate my steps. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, do we have any other questions from anyone else? I know there's one that came in the chat, but other than Sai, any other questions?
Praveen,
I can...
actually, I had a similar question. Maybe I'll combine both and ask.
Yes,
so,
please.
Yeah, you're creating, like, for sending this more the emails, you are creating the multiple domains, like 20, 30 different domains. And when someone looks at it, if it says get and do and all, like you are prefixing some word to your website URL, right? And when people start receiving emails from that unknown domains, the Gmail or Hotmail may not mark it as spam, but when the people look at it, it says, oh, this is some weird unknown website. I don't even want to open it. So like if you get an email from a trusted website, people trust it. Okay, this is coming from, let's say, Yahoo, or this is coming from Microsoft. But the moment they see, or at least when I look at it, is, oh, this is come from one website. I don't want even to open it, right? So right. I thought it may be negative, not positive, but you said you are getting a better rate. So can you
Better for it. I think that's where if you really look at my email messages, that's also a good question, by the way. If you look at my initial email messages, I do not have any URLs that I put there. It's all about the message. If that message is right, if that message actually, triggers, right, a response from that person, So I'm not providing any URLs in any of those messages. I only provide links if they respond. Again, remember, this is like multiple touch points, right? Again, they probably are looking at my LinkedIn. They probably are looking at some information about the cohort itself. Yes, I do give information about the cohort. So I will let them go Google it, enough information, Google it versus trying to provide too many links upfront. Okay, this is most of a bulk use case again, right? If you want, I'm not necessarily saying always use different domains. If you are sending, a lot of like emails where you want delivery to be important. I think earlier Suresh was saying, he doesn't have a use case where he needs to send thousands. He probably needs to send tens of emails every day. And those are very specific account-based, emails. For that use case, I would not recommend you come up with 20 different email accounts. I would not do that because those are not cold anymore because there are more warm emails that you may have and they probably already know about you. So in that case, I would not necessarily use that differently. I will use your main domain for sending those. But you, again, remember the main domain cannot be used for sending a lot of emails. If you start doing it, your emails, the actual emails may start going to spam as well. So this use case only applies when, a little bit of like applies when you want to send a lot of emails, like 100 or more than 100 on a daily basis.
Yeah, if you look at the message from Sai, it says, as per the FTC rules, it's illegal. It could be illegal potentially.
Yeah, so it is as long as you provide the unsubscribe, yes.
So if you provide the unsubscribe, then it is fine.
Yes, yeah. I mean,
But
you
I
always
see
want to
a
provide
lot
the
of
unsubscribe.
right, but a lot of websites they send unsubscribe. That's a way to really cheat the people. You click on unsubscribe, it goes to a link which could be like some spammer trying to do something.
You're absolutely right. I think the people play around with this. Again, this is one way. Again, we are not talking about like other aspects of this today, right? But at least what I do, as I told you, right? I cannot control what others do. What I like to do is, when somebody says unsubscribe, we do not, we ensure 100% ensure that we do not reach out to them again.
Yeah, I think it's good discussion on this topic. Even Sai is writing some good messages in the chat. I did a quick check, right? Just for context, there are 1.4 billion websites as of this moment today, right? I just did a quick search in Gemini, Google. Okay, 1.4 billion. Everybody's trying to gather eyeballs. It's impossible for any of us to know all the sites that exist, even for the given topic that we're interested in. So unless people advertise that they exist, they're out there through conferences, through possibly email campaigns, etc. So it's a fine line. I think we all understand that there's a fine line that's sort of accepted. My understanding as well, I work for Verizon, and we are part of the regulatory aspect of about 85% of global internet traffic goes through our company. There's a lot of these that we have to report and so on in terms of origination destinations from fraud and other aspects as well. So the what I would say is the perspective we take as a policy is like Mr. Kumar said, as long as the email comes in with an unsubscribe link, then it's considered legitimate for that perspective. Not in every country, right? GDPR has, in European Union, they have their own privacy practices that they endorse or support, and this landscape is getting more and more complex as we go. All the questions that Sai asked or Sudhakar asked are absolutely relevant, and I think this is we just have to keep in mind that 1.4 billion websites are looking for subscribers, and they have to find a way to advertise. Right? Not everybody can, literally have an advertising campaign on every single channel out there. So there's a fine line. I think we can leave it at that. The goal of this call, of this webinar, was to sort of understand how to bring your ideas to fruition, how to use AI to build websites faster. And Suresh, I see that you raised your hand. That'll probably be with the last question that we'll
Yeah.
allow. But go ahead, Suresh, before we
It's not
wrap
a
up.
question. I just want to close this whole topic that I learned hard way. This all the bulky email that Kumar sir was talking about, setting those things, is marketing 101. Prior to AI, also this marketing, companies have been doing it. I had to do it for my own secodeworks.com. So it's nothing to do with AI. It's just kind of exploring that part of it. So with that, I think we can come back to the AI topic on it. That's all I want to
Yeah.
say from it.
Yeah, I think Buchana had a comment in the chat. You want to add a comment, Buchana?
No, I totally echo Suresh and Praveen. So yeah, it's a very good learning session. Yeah, let's not go into legal aspect. That's up to individual how you want to use it. But let's go back to the AI capabilities and features where we can learn.
Absolutely. So again, yeah, wherever you are in general, right, ensure that we are not here saying that do something which is not, you're not supposed to do. That's not the intention of this webinar or intention of this message, right? Do your due diligence. I think this is one way to do. As I mentioned, I have a newsletter. I do get a lot of people subscribing, so I use them. But there are other ways to, do this as well. Ensure like wherever you are, ensure look at the local laws, ensure you follow the local laws.
I think that's a great summary. So I personally learned a lot. Yes, I've built websites for some nonprofits, and I think AI is definitely going to be a really powerful a tool in our toolbox. Thank you for sharing all the wonderful insights. I welcome now our Executive Vice President Sudhakar ji to thank our esteemed speaker for sharing all the insights.
First of all, thank you, Kumar Garu. It was really a very interesting and informative session. And actually, I work in the HR technology. I manage large number of applications. So it's good to hear that you are also into the HR area. And in fact, we use AI a lot. I work for Morgan Stanley. So I can't give more details, but definitely that's like everywhere and every place we are trying to see how AI could be used. We are using the cloud and of course the OpenAI, but with some millions of agent websites providing the agents and all sorts of things, like I see like everywhere you say it's what AI is there. If a website doesn't have the AI, then people may not even look at it. But I'm seeing like with like the ocean of like all these AI technologies, it's very difficult to find out what's the right technology to use. But you shared your wisdom and showed some of the websites and some of this like email campaign, website building and all. I think this is very, very useful. In particular, I like the approach where it's able to scrape LinkedIn and all that and find the relevant information. That's definitely useful. And I'm sure all the three different like topics you presented, it is going to help a lot with the like any startups or any small firms which are looking for some help. And we are looking forward for more such insights, and maybe like we can have more focused discussion in future, and we'll reach out to you and see how best you can educate the JNTUH alumni or broader group. Thank you for making time today and providing a wonderful session. Thank you, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I also thank the opportunity and Suresh and everyone for giving me an opportunity to present this. I know this is more focused for like more small businesses. I'm happy to share more enterprise related use cases in the future if there is a need.
Wonderful
I
job.
think,
Good.
yeah, no, absolutely, Mr. Kumar. Thank you so much for sharing your insights once again. We'd love to have you back. I think
Yeah.
this is such a powerful and relevant topic. Let's have an interactive workshop style, because a lot of people, want to ask questions and not save questions to the end. So as you go along, so think of a session like that. Will bring more people. And it's great to know that you are in the Northern Virginia area. So I'm in the Centerville area as well. Look forward to an opportunity to connect. Suresh, when you're in the area, maybe we can we can have a quick, connect over dinner or Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm here
or coffee.
I'm here in Virginia this week, so probably I'll set up a meeting, Praveen, with Kumar.
Yeah, that works. Thank you. Yeah, there was a question from Mr. Narsingh. Can you please ask?
By the way, Praveen, so Narsingh and KS, we all are classmates, we know each other. So,
oh, nice. Excellent.
Narsingh, go ahead. What is your question?
Before Praveen, can you stop the YouTube? That way.
Yeah. Let me do that.